And so if you have any questions or miss any of the information, it will be posted onto our YouTube channel, which is NSHSS. And you can just go on there and find all the information that you may have missed if you joined in later or had need to leave early. We're going to go ahead and get started with introductions. I am Alexis Adams. I am the scholarship administrator here at NSHSS. We are headquartered and based in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I am the primary person who publishes, creates all the scholarships, and then awards the winners. And now we can hear from our lovely panelists.
Yes, hi, I'm Emma Pitts. I am a 17-year-old college student who lives in Montreal, Quebec. And technically we call it CEGEP here, but it's essentially the same thing as college. I am the 2023 winner of the Speak Up Scholarship. And if there's anything else you'd like to know about me, just let me know with the Q&A. I'm a first-year student at John Abbott College studying with the Honors Social Science branch, and I really love working with communications.
Hi everyone, my name is Iman Zakaria. I am an 18-year-old and I won the NSHSS Activism and Advocacy Scholarship for 2023. I want to be a pediatric emergency physician when I get older, so you can ask me questions about that during the Q&A if you would like. And I'm just super happy to be here.
Great, thank you all so much. And so just like they mentioned, we will be taking, if you'd like to know anything else about them, we will be taking questions at the end in the Q&A. The chat will be off. And so any comments or questions that you have, please direct them to the Q&A. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have a brief PowerPoint for you all that will just cover some information about the scholarships that we currently have available, some things and tips that you can use to help you stand out when applying to scholarships, as well as some data for you all, so some numbers of applicants for each of the scholarships that we received this year versus what they are currently standing at. Okay, so this is just a brief introduction to NSHSS scholarship program. So NSHSS and its partners offer more than $2 million in scholarships annually. All students are eligible to apply for high school and college scholarships in the areas of academic excellence, entrepreneurship, leadership, literature, medicine, music, STEM, sustainability, visual arts, and more. So these are the 5 scholarships that we will review briefly today: the NSHSS and DECA, the UC Berkeley Pre-College Scholarship, NSHSS First Generation, NSHSS Innovation in Tech, and NSHSS College Freshman Scholarship. Try saying that many times. NSHSS. All right, first off, we have the NSHSS and DECA scholarship. This one closes January 15th, 2024. All of our scholarships are due by 11:59. We have a very strict deadline policy. So if you email saying that, you were having some technical difficulties or your recommender didn't upload in time, unfortunately, we cannot make those overrides and exceptions unless it's a case-by-case scenario, like maybe the recommender had a death in the family or caught COVID and just completely forgot, those kind of things. But other than that, a very, very strict deadline policy. So please make aware of the deadlines, note them, stay organized so you can get everything turned in on time. So this award has 3 1,000 winners. And so to be eligible, you just have to be a high school junior or senior who is enrolled in DECA and intends to pursue a college major in marketing, finance, hospitality, or business. All of our scholarships are also open to any citizens of the US and international students as well. Next, we have the UC Berkeley Pre-College Scholarship. This closes February 16th, 2024. This one will look a little different compared to last year. If anyone applied to the UC Berkeley Pre-College Scholarship last year, instead of it being a 8-week summer credited track, they have changed it to the 2-week summer non-credit computer science academic, I'm having tongue ties, academy track, okay? So there is a big difference. Our winner last year was there on campus for 8 weeks and did receive 2 college credits. This year it is only for 2 weeks and it is non-credit, but it's still a great opportunity. And to be eligible, you just have to be a high school rising junior or senior, the ages of between 16 and 17, and a minimum GPA of a 3.0. So not too bad. You can also find all of our prompts for these scholarships on our website, as well on the application whenever you log in and begin the application. Next, we have our first generation scholarship. This closes March 7th, 2024. This is 5 winners for $1,000. And we are accepting any college students of any level, so that's undergrad or master's, who are a first generation student. First generation means that you are the first person in your immediate family to attend college. Next, we have the Innovation in Tech Scholarship. This also closes March 7th, and it is 5 winners for $2,000. The eligibility is high school seniors and college freshmen, sophomore, junior, or juniors with a dedicated passion for AI, technology, coding, and more. And lastly, we have our college freshman scholarship. It also closes March 7th, and we also have 5 winners for $1,000. And this is for any college freshman who is enrolled in their first semester of college by August 15th, 2023. All right, next we just have some prompt responses, do's and don'ts. And so for our do's, we want to make sure that we review our essay submission. We definitely check for grammatical and mechanic errors. And so this does play a part in your application. If you score a 70 or an 80 below, you do get marked for your grammar and mechanics on your application. So you just want to make sure that you are running it by someone, whether that is a teacher, professor, friend, or family member. You also want to make sure that your response is engaging and also sticking to the prompt. A lot of times when we are reviewing applications that we see that students may have a general prompt response that they use to apply for college apps or scholarship apps, and it sometimes does not fit the prompt as much as it could. And so we just want to make sure that we are paying attention to the prompts and making it engaging and unique. I know a lot of times, like when I was in high school, students always had questions about like, should we kind of like put in personal information into our prompts? You know, you don't want to put anything too personal, but you want to make it personal about yourself in a way that doesn't maybe sound like a sob story or overly expressing something that kind of deters you away from the prompts again. So in our don'ts, when the prompt response asks that you write on 2 parts or questions, do not number your responses. So sometimes, so say that the Innovation in Tech Scholarship has 2 questions that you're responding to, and students may number them. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your prompt response flows. And so you want to use a transition word or start a new paragraph, but do not number them. You also do not want to include a thank you to the reviewer in your paragraph. Sometimes students use this as a filler to make sure they are meeting that word requirement. And so they'll write a whole paragraph thanking the reviewer for reviewing their application and how much this scholarship means to them. But we don't need that. We just need you to complete the response in the word requirement in entirety, and that's it. And so that is something else, that's another don't. You do not want to go under and you do not want to go over the word count for the prompt response. All right, some do's and don'ts for the resume and recommendation requests. In the resume, please include an activity, club, or volunteer experience that is associated with the scholarship you are applying for. So say you are applying for creative writing, but you have only listed that you work at Chick-fil-A and that you babysit and that you attend this high school, and that's it. That doesn't give the reviewer a full outline of who you are. A resume is intended to help someone get to know you before reading your prompt response. And so say if you're applying to the creative writing scholarship and you have written a children's story. That is and it could be for a class assignment, not something that is published. That is something that you can still highlight because it's relevant to the scholarship. And so that's important. That shows any type of experience that you may have associated with that topic. I know that sometimes students are confused about an academic resume. They think that it's different from just a regular resume, but it's the same thing. Same thing. And so you just want to learn how to target it to the scholarship you are applying to, and including maybe some key information that may help your chances stand out and also just get the reader a better view of who you are. All right, next, you want to learn how to build an appropriate resume, such as using the correct fonts, appropriate order, and what to include. My biggest thing when people ask, what should I put on a resume? What should it look like? Google has so many examples. Also, Word has resume templates as well. And so you just want to make sure that you're using the correct font. I've had students upload a 26 Times New Roman font, and then the rest of it is 18, 12. It just doesn't look nice and neat, and it doesn't flow. We also want to make sure that we're using the appropriate order. So you don't want to jump around with your dates. It should be in chronological order. So if you changed high schools, or if you're someone who wants to put their middle school information, you don't want to have middle school, then high school, then middle school, then high school. Like, everything needs to flow in the right order. When it comes to using receiving a recommendation request, you want to use a recommender that knows you well, or that you have a decent relationship with. This is very key. Recommendation requests also are something that reviewers use to help choose a winner, because it helps also know who the student is overall. And so you don't want to receive a recommendation letter from someone who just fills out the form of strongly agree, strongly disagree, because they don't have any information to provide on you. They don't know you well enough. You want someone that you have some type of relationship with, and it does not have to be a teacher. It can be a boss, it can be a mentor, it can be a family friend, anyone other than a family member themselves or a friend, but there's someone that you have a great relationship with who can provide maybe a few sentences or a paragraph about your efforts and their interaction with you. All right, next. Do not include any information from middle school on your resume. This is case by case. There may be an award that you want to highlight that you received in middle school, but if it's just volunteer hours or other things of sort for middle school, we do not need to highlight that. You are in high school now, or maybe even college, and that information is just not relevant. If you have not done any volunteer service since then, that's maybe something that you should consider, so that you can start adding that onto your resume. But we don't want to put really too much information from middle school on your resume. Do not wait until the last minute to ask your recommender or teacher for a recommendation request. A lot of times, this is what stands in the place of a student being able to fully submit their application because their teacher did not have much notice and weren't able to get the recommendation letter in by the deadline. And this is unfortunate because, like I said, it goes back to our strict deadline policy. We cannot make the exception just because your teacher was not able to submit the request in time. So you want to give them at least 3 weeks notice. We all know how busy teachers are. And so this is just something that you need to put on their radar, so they can put on their calendar so they can have it turned in on time. Okay. All right, next. Excuse me. These are a few numbers of the applications that we received for each of the scholarships that I have gone over in this PowerPoint. So this year, the NSHSS and DECA scholarship received 79 applicants. Because this is a specific scholarship that's targeted to being a member of a club, you don't always see too many applicants for this. So if you are a part of DECA, this may be something that you should consider. It does go to your college and university, versus our FBA scholarship the award goes to you traveling to the conference. This is different. DECA does go to the university itself, and you can use it towards your tuition and books, room and board. So right now we currently only have 2 applicants. So the competition is not that strong, and this is something that people should consider if they are part of DECA. Next is our UC Berkeley Pre-College Scholarship. It received 96 applicants, which is pretty well because this was the first year it was open. Well, this was our first time doing this scholarship. And so we received 96 applicants, but it was only one winner. And like I said, she went to the campus for 8 weeks. Currently, we have 0 applicants. But like I said, this is still a great opportunity. You will go on campus for 2 weeks, take any of their college courses, stay on campus in the dorms, eat in the dining hall, and then like enjoy all the amenities they have, like going to the rec and the pool and things like that. Next, we have the first generation. This was also the first year we offered this scholarship, so we received 37 applicants, and we currently have 1. This is something also to consider if you are a first generation student, because it is 5 winners. That there's a great chance of you receiving this scholarship. This year, our innovation in tech received 149 applicants, and we currently have 3. And then lastly, our college freshman scholarship received 147. This was our first year offering this scholarship as well. And it goes to first year students going into their freshman year of college, 5 winners, and we currently have 0. So if you are interested in any of these scholarships, I highly recommend that you go ahead and apply to them and consider the tips that I have provided and that you will also receive from Emma and Iman today. All right, next, we're gonna go ahead and get into some questions that I have prepared for Emma and Iman. And then we will go and take the questions from the Q&A from you all. Okay. Let me just stop sharing my screen. And if you missed any of this information or want any of this information, please let me know. I will put my email at the bottom of the chat towards the end of the webinar. All right, let's get started with our first question. Our first question is, how has your scholarship experience been thus far? And whoever wants to jump in first can go ahead.
Yes, I can go first. So again, my name is Iman Zakaria, and I didn't mention this before. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. So thus far, let's see. Okay, I do understand it's a very stressful process, but I feel like NSHSS just makes it so easy. It's through their website. It's one platform that you can be, exposed to like so many scholarships from all different kinds of deadlines, timelines, different, characteristics that you might have to have for the scholarship to really just branch out and see everything. This has been one of the best experiences to work with them. They're super responsive, and also they will answer your questions if you need help filling out the scholarship applications. They also have webinars and such like this. The scholarship questions themselves may be a little bit difficult just because, the level of question that it is and how complex it is, but just taking a few minutes just to, see what your experience matches perfectly or as well as it can be to the prompt. I mean, like I said before, there are so many different prompts and so many different types of scholarships, and just choose the one that fits best for you.
Yeah, I really agree with a lot of what Iman said. I only first started applying for scholarships last December. I was in my senior year of high school. We graduate a year prior than people in the United States do because we go until grade 11 instead of grade 12. But I was really new to it, and actually, I didn't know how many types of scholarships that there are out there. I mean, the first one I applied to was to study abroad for a week to just get a better understanding of my own cultural identity. I'm a second generation immigrant. And so that was really an enriching experience for me. And so a lot of the times you'll see scholarships that are about paying for your tuition for education or for university. But honestly, there are so many opportunities out there, and traveling is a really good one. And it's a good way to get started. I was doing it with the Vimy Foundation. And since then, I've been applying for more and more scholarships. I think I've applied for 10 or 11, and I've been accepted into all of them except for 2. But just really getting out there and being confident and being grounded in what you believe in is really important, because a lot of people do feel very intimidated by the application process, or they may think that they're not good enough. But because you have that mentality, it really deters a lot of the competition from even applying in the first place. There are a lot of opportunities out there for young scholars.
Thank you. Great information from both of y'all. I do want to also just acknowledge that NSHSS does have scholarships starting for freshmen, and so you can apply as early as your freshman year to some of our scholarships. All right, our next question is, how many scholarships have you applied for and received?
I mean, I've already mentioned, but I'll re-explain. I think I've applied for 10, and then I got 8 of them, but there were different types. I mean, I think the first one was to travel abroad in last April with 20 Canadians from, and since then I've just been looking for ones that have to do with volunteer work or my personal interests. I applied for one with women in public service, which I was actually awarded in the United States as well. And so there are a lot of opportunities for different types of scholarships that are not only within your country or within your community, but can also be abroad. Even like a good way to start looking for scholarships is going like within your town or your community and looking, do they have any in your school, asking someone that you like, a teacher or someone that you know well, who might be involved with the community, what kind of opportunities they might have for you.
Definitely, I 100% agree with everything Emma said as well. Don't necessarily just look at scholarships for just college, which I know college is super important. But like she said, to get scholarships that'll allow you to do more experiences and different experiences, just to broaden your horizon and your learning. I think I've applied to, I want to say 15 scholarships. I've definitely been on the grind for that just because I don't want any college debt, and I would suggest you do the same. There's money out there, you just need to find it. I've only gotten a couple back just because I've just recently started sending them out, and I think I've received 6 or 7 back, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what the outcome is for the rest of them, and most of them are also attached to a school, so I have to wait and see if I get accepted in order to be awarded the scholarship and so forth.
Great. Thank you all so much. That's also really amazing that you all have received that many. Sometimes we hear testimony from kids who say, I applied for 7 and haven't heard back. You just have to continue to apply, remain consistent, and you'll be bound to hear back from at least a few of them. So our last question that I will ask you all, that we will then move into our Q&A, is, what is something you added to your application to help you stand out?
So one of the things I always do when I apply for scholarships is I think about an experience that I don't think anyone else has had. Specifically the scholarship that I won, the Activism and Advocacy Scholarship, I helped pass an act in San Antonio, Texas, that then got moved to the whole state of Texas, and that is the Crown Act, which is creating a respectful and open world for natural hair to protect African Americans against hair discrimination who have textured hair. So I obviously was a part of the group, so I knew everyone else on the panel, are adults. So I used that in order to push myself forward through the application process, just to stand out and do something different. And another thing you can do is get talk about an experience that you've had, but how it impacted you in a way that probably wouldn't have impacted someone else in the same way. It's always good to, one of the 3 things I've been taught since I've been doing scholarship applications is, one, make sure that you're being truthful and honest and actually passionate about what you're talking about. The second thing is obviously make sure you're being truthful and honest. And then the last thing is try to write about something that can't be repeated, or write in a way that can't be repeated. So you're always being original, and that will definitely help you stand out.
Yeah, and she vocalized that very well. It's really important to talk about your personal connection to whatever piece that you're writing about. And even when looking for awards, for me, I do a lot of activism when it comes to social justice and standing up for rights of people in the world. And so when I'm looking for awards, I'm looking for my personal connection to them. The Speak Up Scholarship really mattered to me because I had published a magazine with my school where we vocalized different internalized practices of discrimination and the different facets in which they're expressed. And for me, finding an award that really amplified connection towards it was really important. So she was right. I mean, talking about an experience of yours and how it affected you is really important, because you have that introspection that makes a personal link. When I went and I traveled abroad last April, I learned a lot of things about people, but mostly about myself and how I connect with my environment. And that's something I wrote about in my recommendation, or not recommendation, I wrote about in my letter to apply for my last Speak Up scholarship with NSHSS. It's really important to just take the time to really think about what it means to you, to really just talk to your friends about it. You don't need to write right away. You can always get some ideas, and you're trying to tell a story. And while community hours are really important, what stands out most is what it means to you and how your connection with the community, or your connection to maybe education, what it really means to you.
Thank you. That was a great tip and advice from both of you all. I will also just piggyback up off them as well. Something that I enjoy as a reviewer is when the applicant tells a story and I can really see the passion about whatever they're talking about through their essay. That is amazing, and that matters more than any GPA that I will see on your transcript, because at the end of the day, that does not help you stand out. All of you all have either a 3.0 or above. And so grades literally are like the smallest thing, because every single one of you all have a 3.5, have a 4.0. And so you want something else to help you stand out. And so if your essay can tell a story about who you are, and I can see the passion about whatever you're talking about, whether that's community service or activism, or how much you love creating for whatever cause, or you have a nonprofit, and I can just feel it without even like seeing you, talking to you face to face, that is beautiful. And that's what a lot of the winners all have. Okay, so now we can go ahead and get started with the questions in our Q&A. And so several of you all have been asking, will this presentation be available to you all, or am I recording? And the answer is yes. This webinar is being recorded. This presentation will also be available. Everything will be posted to our YouTube channel tomorrow. It is titled, our YouTube channel is NSHSS. All right. Someone asked, can I apply to be a DECA member as a junior in high school? You can apply to be a DECA member in your high school as a junior. And for the scholarship, you will just need to be a member already. If you're asking if a junior is eligible to apply for the scholarship, yes. Like I said, you just have to be a DECA member. And so if your school is allowing juniors to apply, which I'm pretty sure they are, then yes, you can apply to be a DECA member as a junior in high school. Someone asked, how can I apply to one of these scholarships? So all of our scholarships are posted on our website, nshss.org. You will log in, like if you click on one of the scholarships that you're interested in and you hit that apply button, it is going to take you to either sign up if you do not have an account, or if you do already have an account, it's going to prompt you to log in and it will take you to the application. Someone asked, how many Innovation and Tech Awards were there in 2023? That scholarship receives 5 winners. Someone asked, do you have to be a member of NSHSS to apply to these scholarships? And it just varies. Some of our scholarships, you do have to be a member. For the 2 that Emma Iman won, you did not have to be a winner. So they applied to the Speak Up and a member to the Speak Up in Activism and Advocacy. And then the ones that I mentioned on the presentation today, you do not have to be a member. Someone asked, are there any scholarships for zoology or veterinary? No, we do not have any primarily targeted for those topics, but the closest thing I think we can offer for that would be our STEAM scholarship. And so some students do speak about their interest in medicine there. All right, this one said, how can I apply for the UC Berkeley? Like I said, you will just go on our website and hit that apply button, and it will prompt you to log in and then take you to the application. The UC Berkeley Pre-College Scholarship does have a few different qualifications and requirements, you once you apply to the scholarship with us, you will then also be having have to go and apply for the program on UC Berkeley's website. Someone asked, can we apply for more than one scholarship if we are eligible? Yes. Yes, you can. Actually, Emma and Iman, did you all apply to multiple NSHSS scholarships before you all received the one that you were awarded?
Yes, I applied to two. I think one of them was the Lewis Global Leadership Award, and the other one was Speak Up, of course. Like always, like this is one thing like I tell my friends, like don't feel like intimidated like to apply more than once to the same website. Completely, you can completely do it. There's nothing against it. And like don't feel intimidated to ask your teacher or whoever you want to write your letter of recommendation to write you multiple towards like different types of scholarships.
I agree, and I also applied to, I think, two scholarships. One was the academic excellence or something along the lines of that one, and then of course the activism and advocacy scholarship that I won. And like she said, don't ever be afraid to ask, and I think it'll make you more comfortable if you are, or it'll make you more comfortable if you talk to somebody who knows you better, just because you would have already created that relationship. And I guess it's not as awkward to like ask for multiple letters of recommendation. So just make sure you ask someone who knows you well. And then and yes, it's important to, like I said, to apply. The more you apply, the more you have to do it. Ability is a lot, so never be afraid to just keep applying. And sometimes you'll be a candidate for one scholarship, and maybe that one doesn't fit you the best, but then a different scholarship that you apply to fit you better. So just never be afraid, to take that step.
Great. Thank you all. Someone asked, are there any scholarships for the arts? And yes, those are actually my favorite to review. So we have scholarships for music, dance, film and video, theater, visual arts, and creative writing. So those 6. And so the visual arts requires you to upload any of your photography, multimedia, painting, drawings, anything like that. The dance, music, film and video, and theater all require you to upload videos of you doing those things. And so like for example, dance, the students and applicants are required to upload dance videos up to 3 minutes. And they also all have to provide a brief description of the dance piece, and then also what inspired them to be involved in this art. So whether that's film and video, theater, and so forth. So someone asked, how do you find the scholarships that you apply for? And so I can speak on that, and then Emma and Iman can also briefly touch on that if they would like. But basically, you just Google a lot of different resources. And I know Emma also already mentioned, like, look within your community. So different organizations, whether they're small, local, or big, they all have some type of opportunity that you may be interested in and can be eligible for. And so like, let's say if you just Google scholarships, and NSHSS would be something that pops up. That is how you would possibly find us. And then you could also find other organizations like the Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation, which is another huge one. We have some of our members who are also semifinalists and winners there. And like, I'm really big on looking in the community. Some of those small scholarships that you think don't really mean anything, they start to add up. And so I would apply to really any of the scholarships that you can find. Emma and Iman, I don't know if you all want to add something to that. If not, we can move on.
Yeah, you're right on. I just looked online. You can even look at some, like I think even some banks, they'll have sponsors that are they'll give out scholarships for students. And also, like when you're looking for scholarships to apply for, I always recommend to look for the smaller ones that are like 1,000, 500. Way you'll have less competition, so you'll have a higher chance of winning. And of course, that does add up over time. While I've applied to 10, and I think I applied to 2 that were really, really competitive, it makes it harder to get into those ones. But the ones that are smaller, it takes like you'll hear back from them faster and you'll have less competition, which increases your chances of winning.
I also agree with both of them. One of the things that you can also look for is like look in your parents' jobs as well. If your parents work, sometimes where they work, they will have scholarships for, children of, if your parent works here or X, Y, and Z. Another thing is you can look within like your church sometimes. They will give out scholarships as well. Another thing, like they said, is like local scholarships. And if you're having trouble finding local scholarships, honestly, reach out to or just look in your like district website or district or just like community, whether it's like your small community that you live in, like your neighborhood, or just like the community in general, or look in your county. If you're international, I'm not sure how that would work, so you would have to ask them about that. But just honestly looking pretty much everywhere, you'd be surprised when they give out scholarships. Even like Chick-fil-A has one, Whataburger has one. Like they're
Uh-oh, I think we lost Iman. I think she may be having some service connection issues. Hold on,
sorry
let's see if
for
we're getting her back.
that.
Okay, can you say something else for us, Iman? I think we're having some issue hearing you.
Can you hear me now by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Did you want to finish your
What I was
thought?
saying is yes, sorry. You would be surprised where you can find scholarships. It would be worse if you don't ask, whether it's better just to ask, even if it's a no. If it's a yes, maybe somebody else didn't give it, and then it's less competitive as well.
Yes, thank you so much. A lot of you all are just asking questions specifically about DECA. Because that is a partner scholarship that we have with DECA, we do not speak on too much about DECA's requirements as far as like how to join that organization within itself. And so someone asked, what if my school doesn't offer DECA? Then unfortunately, you cannot apply to this specific scholarship because you do have to be a member of DECA. So if your school does not offer it, I would just say look for some other organizations that you can join, and also just some different scholarships that you can apply to that does not require membership. So yeah, like I said, we don't really go in detail about the requirements for DECA's membership. We just say that you do have to be a member of the organization. However, their process is, I think, varies. I take that back. I think they have a general process for like applying and becoming a member. And that's just like their own separate process from NSHSS. All right. Someone asked, so I know this is also something tricky. Someone asked, I was wondering how it would work if I am a junior in high school, but in college already. And so I do receive a lot of applicants who are doing that dual enrollment kind of thing, right? So you are in high school, but you're taking college club courses at your local university or college, which is great. You can still apply. You will still apply as a high school junior. You will not apply as a college freshman or a college sophomore because you technically still have not graduated high school. And so your grad year, so say, you're a high school junior, your grad year is 2025. You will apply as a junior in high school. So every scholarship that says eligible for high school juniors and seniors, eligible for high school juniors, and so forth, those are the scholarships that you will apply to. And so that goes for anyone else who may be involved or participating in dual enrollment. You are still a high school student, and so you will apply based off whatever your grad year is. Someone asked, for the UC Berkeley scholarship, how does the process usually work? For, I guess, someone like they're basically asking, you know, how would we go there if we're still in school? That's a great question, and these are in all the details on our website. The scholarship is currently open now, but you would not attend the university and the program until summer. So the course dates are listed there. I think it's like June 17th. Maybe it's like the first week of July or some sort like that. But it is when you all would be out of high school for the summer. All right, someone asked, can you use the same essay for different scholarships as long as you match the prompt? And I will speak on this, and Emma and Iman, you can all also add if you would like. The answer is yes. We do not have any restrictions on maybe privacy or using the same essay. You can use the same essay as long as it matches the prompt. I'm not really sure how effective that may be if you're using like a general prompt for every essay or every application you are applying to. I would say just really tailor it sometimes. Like you may want to tweak it just to make it a little bit more personal, but you can use it. Iman, did you all want to say anything, or we're good?
I agree with that as well. Sometimes if the scholarship is like ultra specific, let's say it's like focusing on a person, if the prompt matches, you can always just tie it back to how that person and how you model the person's actions, or if the organization, you can like if it's specific towards like an organization or time period or something like that. I've had like really interesting scholarships about history and stuff too. I would take the scholarship essay that I had written and then, you know, tweak it towards like the time period or the organization and how you live through their mission and such. That could be helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had like a list of my old essays I've written, and sometimes I'll rehash sentence structures I really like, or just different ideas. I'll put them into different orders, or I'll kind of tweak them. What's really important is to like keep a list of the things that you've done, your values, just things that work with your character and the type of personality you're trying to express to whoever's going to read your application. You can reuse an essay. I haven't done that. I take my essays like on a one-to-one basis. I write something and I don't almost never use it again. Essentially, especially for the last one I wrote for the Speak Up Award, I haven't used that in any future applications. But if that's something you don't mind doing, or you're pressed for time and it just happens to fit within your application letter, you could possibly do it, or just take like bits and pieces you like and kind of work around them if it works to your advantage.
Yes, thank you all. I definitely think it's important, just as long as you're making it personal, tailoring it to each specific prompt, you know, so where it's not as general, then that helps your chances. And so we have a few more questions about the UC Berkeley scholarship. So someone asked, can you study any field while the program? No, they do have specific majors and courses that you are eligible to take. And so you would just have to refer back to our scholarships page and click on that specific scholarship to just see all those details, as well as going onto their website. Someone asked, some scholarship committees review all applications only after the deadline. Some scholarship committees review applications on a rolling basis. Does the UC Berkeley Scholarship Committee review all applications after the deadline? Yes, we wait after the deadline to review the scholarship, just to allow everyone to have like a fair chance to get everything turned in. And sometimes when we're just having so many things closing back to back, we really can't work on a rolling basis, just depending on the time of year. But for this particular scholarship, all applications will be reviewed after the deadline. Someone asked, can I do multiple applications for the same scholarship? No, at least not with us. I'm not sure with any other organization, but I don't think so. But with NSHSS, you cannot do multiple applications, just one application. Okay, someone asked, does the length of scholarship prompts widely vary, or are they all fairly uniform? It just depends on the scholarship with us. A lot of times you will see that we're requiring a 500 to 800 word count That is our most general word count. But if you're applying to any of the arts ones, those word prompts are very smaller. I think we do up to 200. We won't go over 800 though. Like you won't have a word count for NSHSS applications that are over 800. Are these scholarships available to non-US citizens? For example, the students who are on other non-immigrant visa status? Yes. Emma even mentioned that she is also a second generation immigrant. You do not have to be a US citizen to receive our scholarships. Okay, for the college freshman scholarship, do you need to be interested in certain majors or can anyone sign up for it? Anyone, it does not matter your major, you just have to be a college freshman. How many applicants will be awarded for the UC Berkeley scholarship? Just one. One winner. And I know it sucks. It was so hard reading those applications this year because so many students really wanted it and had great responses and great applications. And it's a great opportunity, but it is just one winner. Someone said, is it true random businesses give out scholarships such as Walmart or Jersey Mike's, etc.? I think so. I can't speak on it too much, but I will say that just from my experience, any organization that is giving a scholarship, you will need to complete some type of application. And that just brings us to like just identifying what's a real application and organization giving a scholarship versus ones that are not. And we get this question a lot as well, just knowing how to defer the two. And I always say, if it's just an application asking for you to upload or enter any of your demographic information, then it is probably not a real scholarship. Like if it's just asking for name, email, where do you live, your grad year, and that's it. We don't really consider that a real application because how will they determine a winner? Like, are they just pulling from a hat? You just don't know. And those applications typically receive thousands of applicants because, everybody's doing the same thing, just name, email, grad year, state. Every application that I know based off experience that is like a true, genuine scholarship at least requires you to upload some type of written response. Emma and Iman, I don't know if y'all have any other pointers that y'all can give for people identifying what's a real versus kind of like a fake application for a scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, I was really skeptical the first time I applied. It was online. I just look online into like have other people won this before in the past. My first one was a traveling scholarship, and so I heard about like I was reading through different journals of people who had traveled before, looking at pictures and just any documentation that can prove that someone has won an award before it's pretty good to do that.
I would also see if they have social media platforms and how reliable those are. If it's just a bunch of like spam posts, usually you can tell like there's something about they'll ask around. You can also ask your school counselors if they haven't heard about it, or if you have we have a college counselor. If they haven't heard of it either, I would kind of be weary about whether the scholarship is correct or not. But to answer your question, I looked it up for you. So some of the big, companies are like Google, Dell, Microsoft. There's food ones like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and there's also like automotive industries, which I thought was interesting, such as like Toyota, BMW, Shell, Chevron. Those are kind of the different ones that I saw online, if you were interested.
Great. Thank you so much, Iman, for pulling that up for us. Someone just mentioned that the dates on the UC Berkeley scholarship are outdated, and I just wanted to pull it up. And so maybe see, and then also if they will be corrected, but let's just make sure so I can give y'all that information now. So if you go on our NSHSS website, the current dates for the program for the UC Berkeley Scholarship is June 16th to June 28th. And so you can find that on our website. So like I said, June 16th to the 28th. So I think most of everyone is kind of out of school during that time. But if not, that may be something that you have to just discuss with your parents and decide. Okay. Someone asked, are there any scholarships for the nursing field? No specific scholarships targeted towards nursing, but like I said, the STEAM scholarship would be the closest thing because students will mention their passion for medicine there. Okay, someone asked, you mentioned not including activities from middle school. What if one of the students' activities is Model UN carries over from middle school? Does the student include the years of participation only from high school? So like I said, this is kind of case by case, right? Like if this is something very outstanding that you think needs to be highlighted, whether you started that in 6th grade and, you know, had done it since high school, even I know people do the same with Boy Scouts. Yes, please include that because that is something amazing that you should highlight. When I'm discussing things about like not carrying over from middle school, it's more like volunteer hours that, you know, maybe you volunteered at a garden for 5 hours back in 8th grade. Like that's just something that it's not too spectacular that you need to highlight. Or so maybe you did, I don't know, did a club in middle school as well. Or I know a lot of students sometimes list their grades from middle school, and that's just not necessary. But it definitely is case by case. If you have something spectacular that you want to highlight, yes, please include it in your resume. All right, and someone asked, are the no essay scholarships valid? And like I said, from my experience, no, they are not valid. All right, so I'll just give a few more minutes for anyone to upload any other questions or answers. We're coming close to the end of our webinar. It will end at 8. And so in the meantime, I can also just discuss some of the questions that I answered privately as far as someone asked, I just received a scholarship, you know, but I'm not scheduled to graduate until next year. So what do I do? And this is great, just discuss this a little bit more about our process. Let's say if you do receive one of our scholarships like Emma and Iman, and you are a sophomore in high school, that is totally okay. You won't receive your award until you graduate, until you have enrolled in a college or university. All of our scholarships go directly to the institution themselves, and then they will apply to your account and they will apply to your tuition, room and board, books, that kind of thing. It's sometimes case by case. Some students do receive what we call scholarship displacement, where they will need the scholarship sent directly to themselves because let's say if you received amount of scholarship from the university and you receive an outside scholarship like ourselves, and they like say that they will decrease the scholarship that they give you at the university. That is what you call scholarship displacement. That happens a lot for kids who are on a full ride with the university. Then the money will go directly to you, and then you will pay for anything such as your books or maybe your meal plan that way. All right, and someone asked, what is the difference between a resume and an application like an essay? I don't know if I quite understand that question. The difference between a resume and an essay. I will say a resume is nothing like an essay. An essay is, you know, multiple paragraphs, and you're talking about one specific idea or topic. A resume is a list. You know, you may have an objective at the top or an about at the top, maybe giving like a brief rundown who you are. But the purpose of a resume is to list different things about yourself. So where you attended high school, like where you are, currently at school, any job history. So maybe you've worked at Walmart as a cashier, those type of things, community service hours, any clubs or activities that you are currently participating in, but it's not written in an essay format. It's written in like a list format. And so you may have bullet points or numbers and so forth. Okay. Someone asked, which is a great question, are all the deadlines for applying that you're applying to based on Eastern time? Yes, all of our scholarships are due in Eastern time. They all will be due by 11:59. Someone is just asking for you to share which scholarships you received again. And so Emma received the Speak Up Scholarship this year, and Iman received the Activism and Advocacy Scholarship. Okay, this question is directed to you all. I have tried many times of applying to scholarships, but how can I increase my chance of winning a scholarship?
Definitely, and I can understand why it's frustrating. Just I can actually share a story. One of my close friends got into his dream school, and the one problem he had was his parents told him he had to pay for his own college experience due to X, Y, and Z. And he applied to a scholarship, one scholarship every single day until he got enough money. He applied to small scholarships, big scholarships, until he could completely pay off his college all by himself. So what I would just say is to increase your chances, the only way is to, apply. It's almost kind of like winning the educational lottery. Just as many times as you can apply to a scholarship, whether they be big or small. My rule kind of is find to two small ones and one big one by the end of the week, just so I'm getting like 2 to 3 scholarships out per week, just to raise your chances of getting it. And then another thing is, like I said, just go out and I know it's hard to wait and consider in the waiting game, and of course the application, college application with the scholarship application should be a lot. I'm going through the same thing. But one of the things you can do is like go out and experience things you would not have experienced to help you, write about something different. Like if there's like a retreat to like with your church, you should go if you have the time and have parent permission. Like this year I'm taking a class, I'm taking sociology, which like I said, I want to be a doctor, so this is completely out of my comfort zone. But just getting like a new viewpoint and a new, thing to talk about can also be helpful in raising your chances as well, and broaden the different kinds of scholarships you can apply for as well.
Those are great points that Iman brought up. When it comes to applications, applying a lot's important. For me, I don't know how you could apply a lot of times during like 2 or 3 times during the week. I take things a bit more slowly with mine, but everyone has their own pace. Just put a lot of like thought and personal connection into it, and don't be discouraged if you don't get in. I mean, when I didn't get these 2 ones that I applied for, I felt really upset about that, and it did discourage me for a while, I have to admit it. But then we end up we bounce back, we come back, and we continue, because like at the end of the day, it's really about funding your scholarship, your education, and it's really important that you put yourself out there. And for me, when I was out and I didn't have any inspiration, I went into nature, or I just did the things that I liked to do. I spent time with the people I cared about, and I just stepped away from it. Try not to feel so pressured into it, or try to feel the pressure of writing or having to say the right words, but just write when you can, and write like your draft is not going to be your final at all. Your draft is going to be a very rough estimate, an idea, a cluster of it, but you're going to nail it down eventually, and you're going to find a focal point about something that impacts you personally, and that's very focused and direct. And so like just really take in the process, and learn to enjoy it, because while scholarships, a lot of people who apply, they're looking for the monetary aspect. It's the process that's the most important. I mean, I was able to do a lot of introspection into myself and the things I wanted to do, who I wanted to be as a person in the future, just by applying for scholarships. And really, that's what's the main takeaway from it. And I mean, I've had friends who've applied to, I think, 5, 6, 7, still haven't won, not one award, but they're still applying. And that's something I find really inspirational, and just try not to lose that motivation.
Beautiful. I think that is great advice, because I do know it is hard not to be too hard on yourselves, especially if you may not receive the scholarship that you were working so hard towards. But I think Emma put it greatly, and as well as Iman, like you have to just keep going. Consistency is key, and as well as just stepping back. Your first draft should not be your final draft. It should not be. You should have someone look over it. You should also step away from it and maybe consider some other things after reviewing it. But I want to say thank you all for joining us. Thank you both to Emma and Iman for also paneling for us. If you would like to be a NSHSS scholarship winner, please go to our website and apply to our scholarships. We have those 5 open that I currently shared, but we also have 7 others that I did not highlight that are currently open that may be targeted to a different interest of yours. So please, please, please apply to all of our scholarships and get this free money so you can have the chance of going to college for free. That is the goal, to leave with no debt. But thank you all again for joining. This webinar will be posted on our YouTube channel, NSHSS, tomorrow, and have a great night. One more thing, if you did not have your question answered, my email is, and I will put that in the chat really quickly. You can email scholarships@nshss.org for any questions that you may have that were not answered or don't we have the opportunity to answer tonight. All right. Thank you all. Bye.